Welcome to Meet the Healers. Everything you always wanted to know about healing your mind, body, and spirit through integrative medicine, energy healing, homeopathy, functional medicine, and more. Check out Meet the Healers on Facebook or meetthehealers.net. Thanks for listening. Today I'm meeting with Kramer from New Jersey, and she's going to talk to us about homeopathy, flower essences, essential oils, and more. So I'm really curious to hear more about your story on how you help people. Why don't we start by introducing yourself and who you work with, and then we'll kind of take it from there.
You know, I live in New Jersey. I've been here my whole life. Growing up, I grew up in the 70s, and that was the day of the hippies and peace signs. And I think the thing that really started me with natural healing is essential oils. I started to wear patchouli oil when I was 13. It's a plant.
Patchouli.
It's like patchouli with a P. Patchouli. Okay. A lot of people know about musk oil.
Like
so musk oil and patchouli, it was around the same time, and I just liked how it smelled. And to this day, I still wear it. Patchouli itself has a lot of healing properties. If you're interested, I could tell you more about that. I believe that on this earth, there's things to cure everything. Or maybe it comes from a flower essence. I think that sometimes people do need a prescription, the Western medicine, but to integrate the two together, to me, is the best option rather than just to take a pill every day, because the pharmaceutical companies make money off us being sick. I use homeopathy. That's been around since the 1800s. People that don't know what homeopathy is, it's a tiny, minute amount of the substance that will work in your body. I also use flower essences, which comes from plants. They're tinctures, and that again is a tiny little amount. Aromatherapy is something you have to be careful with. Some of the things it's called using it neat. There's only a couple aromatherapy things that you can use right on your skin, which is neat, and some you have to be careful. You have to use a carrier oil or mix it before
so for example,
it.
like tea tree oil, you don't want to use directly.
Tea tree oil you can use directly.
You can.
You can use lavender directly. Peppermint, you have to be careful. There's a few that you just have to be careful because it can hurt your skin.
Can you give me an example of a person that came to you? How did you come about with recommending whatever you did, and then what happened? What was the result?
I do have a lot of reference books in my library. I can refer to these different books for, the different ailments. A lot of people come, have the same ailments, like it's stress, anxiety. That's a big issue for a lot of people.
So let's say someone comes and they have like psoriasis, or some kind of a skin.
Okay, that's easy.
What would you do?
Or psoriasis, eczema is kind of like in the same.
Eczema.
Eczema, you would use sulfur, which is homeopathy for that, and that really it works. It really works. And sulfur has other healing properties as well. My daughter actually suffers from eczema, and actually patchouli oil helps eczema.
Wow.
As well. Topically, you get it on your eyelids, or you get it here by your nose. And you put that patchouli, and it works.
So do you talk to people about what's the underlying cause of whatever, let's say for eczema?
Yes.
Could that be related to environment or diet or stress or other things?
Yes, I absolutely try to help people with, the different things that they can do. Stress it's not good for eczema at all. It's not. Well, stress isn't good for anything. Right. It's really not. It could be laundry detergent that you're using.
Exactly.
Or it could be food that you're eating. It could be a vitamin that you're taking, or too much of a vitamin or something. Actually, my daughter's eczema is a lot better now. Not that it still doesn't happen, but it was severe, and it started as a baby. And milk products cause eczema in a lot of people.
Wow. And
babies. But the milk's really for baby cows. It's hard for your body to digest the milk protein, or casein, as they call it. I would suggest try to take milk out of your diet.
I know for me, I was having, my biggest problem is inflammation in my joints. That's how my body reacts to stress and to food or whatever that I'm not supposed to have. So in my case, I cut wheat out of my diet. And about a week later, my hip pain was gone. And my low back pain was much better. But at the same time, like I went to the doctor and they're like, oh, here, take oral steroids. Take steroids, we'll inject you with steroids. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. That's because it's not getting rid of the source of the problem. Like, what's the source?
When you do have ailments and you're not sure, what to do about them. There's something called an elimination diet that you can do, because when you do get tests and you go to an allergist, it doesn't always come up if you're allergic to milk or wheat. It'll come up that it's negative, but it's really not. So the best thing to do is to take these things out of your diet. I believe it's like 6 weeks for the gluten, and then a month for the milk or other foods. You take them out of your diet, you introduce them back in, and you keep a log.
Right.
And that'll tell you.
The whole elimination diet thing is something that people don't realize, that whatever they ingest in their body, especially food, they just don't think that it's not affecting them in that way.
Right.
And they don't feel well. It could just be from the food. And they go to the doctor, and that's the last thing the doctor does. They just treat the symptoms. You got to figure out the cause.
Like you have an allergy to something, and it's very hard to tell. Some people are allergic to caramel color. Another girl, she's allergic to palm oil. I try to stay away from it as much as I can, and especially in dyes. Dyes in food it's very bad, especially red dye. You can go to a birthday party and the kids are fine. Then all of a sudden they have fruit punch, they have a hot dog, they eat cake, and then all of a sudden these kids are off the wall, and the parents are like, oh, why are they acting out? It's because of what they ingested and you put in their body. I'm very strong in the autistic, the world, in the spectrum. I have a child that has autism. I kind of say I became part scientist because I don't believe in invasive therapies. There's a couple different diets that I mixed together to help her. One is the SCD diet, which is it's the specialized carbohydrate diet. There's no grain in her diet at all. It's nut-based, like nut flour. She uses nut flours. And so I used part of her diet, and I would make cookies and a lot of things, from nut flours. Which is very healthy. You eat it. There's a recipe called Monster Cookies, if anybody wants to look that up, and they're delicious. They're made out of ground almonds and raisins and honey, and they're really, really good cookies.
Ooh,
and you can eat them for breakfast. Yeah, you eat them for breakfast. Another diet is the Feingold diet. The Feingold diet helps a lot of kids with hyperactivity. A lot of children with ADHD or children, with autism spectrum. That diet mainly takes out all additives, preservatives, and dyes. You see a difference in everybody. It gives you anxiety, depression, just when you put these chemicals in your body, it distorts your brain as well. Can't think right.
So that's great. So diets, there's a few diets out there. Thank you for those recommendations. That's good to know. And I know you have so much more. What else do you want to share?
I also use herbs. Herbs, you really have to be careful because and you do a lot of research before taking any kind of an herb.
Okay.
Because herbs can react in your body in a very negative way. If you take too much of something, if you mix an herb with a different substance, like St. John's wort, for example, you can't mix it with a birth control pill. It'll make it ineffective.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and certain things, and you shouldn't take it for longer than 9 months. That's St. John's wort. But a lot of the herbs, you shouldn't really take them for too long of a time period. Like a lot of people right now, because we're in COVID and with the virus, they're taking elderberry, to build up their immune system. They're saying it doesn't help, but I don't believe that, because if you have a better immune system, you have to be able to fight the germs better than if your immune system's lower. Even elderberry, you shouldn't take elderberry 365 days a year. Give it a break. But even something is like vitamin C. You have to watch vitamin C and mix. So anything you take, do research before you take it, just to, get educated, especially with an herb. They'll think, oh, it's an herb. It comes from the earth. It's fine.
Right.
But it's not. You can actually even go onto like a CVS site, or they have apps that put on your phone and just put the two in there.
To check with the interaction between the two or whatever and how long.
Yeah.
So I think the takeaway here is that there's definitely a connection between obviously what we ingest and how our body reacts to it. And we all react in different ways. So we all have different chemistry in our bodies, and paying attention to what our chemistry is and then catering our diet and our intake and our lifestyle to our bodies is really the important thing. And that's what I think one of the downfalls of Western medicine is that they don't. They treat everybody a little bit more the same.
Just take this pill and it'll be all better.
Yeah.
Oh, you're depressed, just take this pill.
Right.
Oh, but you're still depressed. Okay, so this, and then you take medication that makes your symptoms worse. There's antidepressants that cause more depression, and then you have to take more medicine.
I hope that this information helps someone out there. If you're having some issues with stuff that we talked about, see you next time.
Bye-bye.